Valorant and Elden Ring are both video games, and that's where the similarities end. For those who don't know these titles, Elden Ring is an open-world RPG infamous for its challenging bosses, and Valorant is a 5v5 first-person tactical shooter infamous for its toxic player base. That might sound overwhelming if you don't play games, but it's not necessarily necessary to understand the focal point of this video. So with that said, how can you even begin to compare these games in any way? Well, today I'll be comparing the game's color palettes, and focusing on these two games specifically because their color palettes differ so wildly, and they both apply colors in totally different ways. Let's start with Valorant, because as soon as you load into the game, even before you load into the game, you're getting a pretty good idea of how they employ color. Valorant is bright, eye-catching, and vibrant. The characters all have unique color palettes that give glimpses into their personalities. And the maps don't skip out on the lively colors either. This reflects the game's gameplay and the overall vibe that the creators want you to feel when you think or play the game. It's fun, it's fast, and it's unique. Other FPS games like Apex Legends or Call of Duty look nothing like Valorant, and that's due in part to the differing art styles. But specifically, the colors in Valorant look nothing like the colors you find in other FPSs. It makes the game feel full of life, unique, and energetic, leaving you wanting to play more and more. Now, on the other hand, we have Elden Ring. Souls games are not known for bright, snappy colors like Valorant, although they've had their moments. Or at least, that's what I used to think. Going into Elden Ring from Valorant, naturally the world started out looking a little dull in comparison, but once you start to actually pay attention to color and progress more in the game, you realize that they use all kinds of values and hues. Elden Ring is an open world game, meaning a lot of the game will be you running around with your trusty steed Torrent and just exploring. The game's art style goes for a more realistic feel than Valorant's very stylized approach, which is one reason for the natural coloring, but another being that the world is less saturated because it allows for emphasis on other things, namely important things, because almost anything important in Elden Ring is going to be colorful. Valorant uses color to make their world energetic and fun. Elden Ring uses color to emphasize. A great video by Hawkshaw on YouTube claims, "All things physical, energetic, informational, emotional, and spiritual in Elden Ring are paired with color." One of the most noticeable applications of vibrant colors in the game is the colors of the sky in different areas. An effect you will notice early game is the blood red sky of Caelid. Now, despite being a great color for a children's hospital, bright red is also said to invoke feelings of love, passion, but also anger and aggression. Guess what this sky is implying? Caelid is a dangerous area, mainly because of something called Scarlet Rot, which is a status effect that will definitely invoke feelings of anger and aggression. Once you enter Caelid and see the bright red sky, you realize that something about this area is different, and it's probably not a good thing. It invokes feelings of fear and panic, and it doesn't get much better the further you explore, because the sky might be bright red, but the ground is also very red, and the enemies, and now your status bar is red, and now your health bar isn't red. Elden Ring uses colors to emphasize items and moments and such, but it saves colors strategically, so they can be localized to specific places, making them memorable and invoke unique emotions whenever the players enter them. Like, if I say the words Elden Ring and yellow, most players are immediately going to go, "Oh yeah, Leyndell." Another notable thing about Leyndell is its value. Leyndell is the brightest area in the game, and is well known for being so. But if you jump down this one random well in the city, you end up in a sprawling maze of sewers that are both dark in content and value. This contrast of coloring and value is a huge shock to the player and an amazing storytelling device, showing us without words that while the city of Leyndell may look bright and beautiful, its history is anything but. This storytelling and effective realization is only possible because From Software saved the bright atmosphere for Leyndell specifically and exclusively. An Elden Ring player made this linear color palette of the game, and you can see that there's a lot of duller, more natural colors, but also bright colors that imply moments of emphasis. And if you played through Elden Ring, you can probably pick out some of these moments just by their color. So Elden Ring doesn't not use color. It uses them smartly, it uses them strategically, it uses them so you'll remember. I don't think one game uses color better than the other. They're totally different games with wildly differing playstyles, and it might be hard to grasp the importance of that if you don't play games yourself, but each game applies color effectively to what it wants to be and how it wants to affect the player. So for the actual art making aspect of this, I made my friends give me some character aspects, and then I drew up a design for someone who could pass in either Valorant or Elden Ring, which is not a very easy thing to do, and I won't say I nailed it, but the main point of these pieces is the coloring, not the design. So I colored one piece to be inspired by Valorant and another by Elden Ring. So for Valorant, I wanted to give her a distinct color palette and use bright, lively colors. The bright colors would add energy to the piece hopefully and also imply a more modern setting. So for Elden Ring I did the opposite except for the points that I want to add emphasis to, so like the magic around her feet, her staff, and her eyes. I made her clothes duller, more natural colored with blue accents to reference the Vagabond's starting armor, and I made her hair colored a little bit more like the Moon Presence. I think these two pieces are pretty good examples of the differences in each game's coloring, not just what colors they use, but also why they use them.